Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. I'm so glad that you popped on checking out what I am up to today. Yes, I'm going to be sharing a few pieces of wall decor with you today that in my area are quick flips. So running across this beautiful framed mirror with all that wonderful detail is definitely going to make it a quick flip. But the Goldie might make it be overlooked. Cannot believe that it only had a $5.29 price tag on it. Is that not crazy? I've got this all cleaned up as the best as I could with air compressor, some hot soapy water, let it dry because there's all those details in there. And then because it has all those details in there, I am spraying it. So I went ahead and taped off and used some contact paper to cover up the mirror itself. When I thrifted this mirror, I had all these ideas of doing some patinas on there, maybe doing some white crackle paint on there, but once I got that black, it was just absolutely gorgeous, and when you know, you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and seal this in with some polyacrylic. And I actually have really good luck. I try to flip-flop, since I'm a black and white girl, black to white mirrors, and yes, black mirrors sell just as well as my white distressed ones do. I'll remove all that tape and contact paper, give one more or good cleaning with my Norwex cloths, and isn't this absolutely gorgeous? I'm not quite done yet with it. I'm going to remove that old wire, that old hanging system. A lot of times if I can, I'm going to make it so there's two different ways to hang the mirror with. Not everybody has the same space, and if you give somebody an option, sometimes that really helps it sell better too. When digging through my stash looking for some smaller windows, I ran across this beautiful mirror, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing back there? I've had this one for over a year, and I now, as I had it out, I can figure out why. It is actually plastic. It's beautiful, but it's plastic. So, and then a year ago, I paid $10.09 for it. After getting this one all cleaned up, taped off, making sure that it's completely dry, I'm spraying it with some Rust-Oleum paint and primer in one. Now this is supposed to be good for wood, metal, and plastic. So plastic sometimes is unpredictable. So we'll get this sprayed up and see what it does. Now this one definitely is not as pretty as that other one in black by any means. It's splotchy, when it's plastic, there's just nothing for it to absorb into. So as I give you a closer look, you can see all the splotches. So even if I just painted it a different color, it still would not paint easily and be beautiful. So this is actually perfect for that crackle effect. So I just have some school glue, some Elmer's glue in a bowl, and I'm just going to be brushing it on. So it's going to give it that beautiful crackle effect. Now, you wouldn't have realized how much detail is there until you go to start brushing paint or glue right now on, trying to get into all those little crevices. Because the detail on this is so small and so close together, I'm not giving it any dry time. I'm going immediately in with my Kills Paint and Primer, and I have a lot of it on the brush. This is a one coat coverage, so it may drip depending on how much you have on the brush, and you don't really want to overlap it, but you want to get that paint on as fast as you can without really, it's a very light touch. You don't want to really like go in with your brush and start wiping all the way down to the glue. You just want to lightly put a lot of paint over that glue. More wait time you give that glue to get a skim coat over it before applying the paint is the bigger the crackles. And since this is a small frame, small details on there, I wanted to have it smaller crackles. No sanding to be done because it's plastic, but it absolutely is beautiful now. Next up is this frame, and actually I was looking for a smaller frame because I ordered some angel wings on Amazon and they actually, I should have read the sizing because they came really small. So instead of returning them, I thought, you know what, maybe somebody wants a smaller piece. So at the citywide garage sale that I just recently went to, I ran across this frame for $1. So I quickly snagged it up. I didn't really study it too much, but it's actually a plaster of Paris, so like a chalk. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that until I flipped it over and started working on it. So we'll see how this one goes. But of course, the last screw that I have to unscrew to get that other hanging system off is stripped. So just note that sometimes you just need some pliers like these just to turn it and get it out. Like I couldn't grab it with a hammer, you know, to pull it out or anything like that because then again, it is plaster of Paris. So I'm just gonna not mess with those other two because that's the way that this one's going to be hanging. And then we just by chance have some leftover piece of paneling that we used on a hutch. Though, though, it is just not the exact size. So I actually dug this out of the burn pile that Chris just saw as trash and that he was going to burn. So I am glad that it had not been burnt yet and that we can piece it together because you really can't use anything thick or anything that you have to nail in because you take the chance of destroying the frame. So I'm going to go ahead and get this painted up with that Rust-Oleum flat black primer too. And there again, this frame is perfect for that crackle effect. I have really good luck with the crackle effect selling, and it just emphasizes those details beautifully. And then if you're worried about painting the paint on, you can also paint over the glue with your spray gun if you're blessed to have one. So that's what I'm doing here, is just putting a nice heavy coat covering everything up. So now that the paint is dry, Chris glued in that paneling, perfect fit. Now put the extra piece on the back to secure the two pieces that were not together with a little bit more glue. And now I'm just running some hot glue and going to be covering this back up with some of the construction paper, contractor's paper, to cover up and make the back look pretty too. So I told you those angel wings were small. They're really only 9 inches. They looked much bigger in the picture, so I'm gonna go ahead and get them sprayed up black. They kind of had a weird patina going on, so if I need to change it after I get it sprayed up black, we'll see what it looks like all together. But this paneling just really looks like paneling. So I'm going to go ahead and dry brush it, just kind of blend it into this frame a little bit more. That I tweaked the dry brushing the way that I want it. Now my wings are way too black. So that's an easy fix too. I'm just taking that same fan brush I used to get underneath the frame to blend it all together, and I'm just going to just very lightly let it touch these angel wings. On the back of the wings, there's a little hanger on there, so I'm going to go ahead and put just a little hook. There's not much wood here because this is paneling to screw into, so I'm just going to use a little hook, and then I'll hot glue the rest of the wings in place so they do not move. So here's another frame that we have, and actually like that plaster one, this one was foam, and I tried to sell it in the booth as is, but I'm in need of some smaller wall decor, so since it hadn't sold yet, I decided to bring it home. And there again, I found another piece of that paneling that is perfect for the back of it. So as you see, there's not much for you to adhere the paneling to. And it's just like the other frame where you can't stick any nails or any staples in it. It has to be glued. So Chris cut the piece down to size for me, and now we're just going to be gluing it in using some Starbound CA glue, just like we did with the other frame. And then since this one is flush, I'm going to go ahead and use these little holders. They are used a lot for pictures and mirrors and stuff like that, just to make sure, just in case the glue doesn't hold to this foam. So now I want to make a wreath for this, and yep, I'm going to be using some hymnal pages. So a lot of times I will find these at estate sales for next to nothing. I think this whole booklet was 25 cents. So I like that it was in a 3-ring binder, so very actually easier than cutting it out of a whole old hymnal book. So yep, I'm just going to cut off where the 3 or 4 holes are, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. And since this is a smaller wreath, I'm going to go ahead and cut it into quarters. So yep, I've got it all cut up now, and then I'll measure it. They are 8 inches, so then I'll measure it to 4 to cut it in half, and then I'll quarter it at 2.5, and so it'll be the perfect size papers to make a hymnal wreath with. So it's nice because depending on the size of your frame or the size of your wreath form, which I usually thrift them, yeah, is what size of paper. So this one's perfect. It's going to, yep, they will use a lot of this paper, but it's pretty simple. You just fold it in half over a pencil. You squash it like you're going to throw it in the trash. That's pretty much it. And then so now I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm going to start working it onto my wreath. Now this wreath form kind of has a coating on it, so it probably about 5-10 seconds I hold it just so it doesn't start to fall. Now I have the Ryobi Glue Gun, and it does get hot, but I have learned as soon as I start seeing some start to come out of the tip, I turn it off. So on and off is what I do with it. Then I absolutely love it, and it stays off for quite a while until I can tell that the glue is starting to get a little bit thicker, but I can just keep on flowing, get this whole thing done without worrying about it being too hot or cooling off too much and having to wait for it to reheat. You can tell I'm just sitting in my living room watching a TV program because this wreath does take about an hour, hour and a half to make, but it's well worth it. It is absolutely beautiful when it's done. So I just keep doing my little folds, doing my little scrunching of the paper, and just working around the whole wreath. As I work on to the next layer, I'm going to put the next one in the hole, the space in between, so that way it's going to be nice and full. Then with the paper and the foam, it is so lightweight, and then with that being just a paneling piece, all I'm going to do is hot glue it on. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and has I inspired you to look at frames and old pieces in a new way, just putting things together. Those hymnal wreaths are just, I tell y'all, they are a great seller, and I absolutely almost cannot pass up an empty frame when I see one. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, let me know which item I made over today was your favorite, and if I've inspired you to give those, I know those hymnal wreaths are a little bit time consuming. I think I got it down to they're a little bit not so time consuming, but they are absolutely beautiful, y'all. So thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video, and we will see you next time, guys, so you can see what we're up to. Bye!